At the start of the movie, we are introduced to a teenager, Lynn. She is a perfectionist who always strives to be the top student in her class. This is because Lynn wants to impress her mother and receive financial assistance to attend Beijing's prestigious Tsinghua University. However, Lynn suddenly catches a bad cold during one of her tests. Out of desperation, she resorts to cheating without realizing that it is also an acquired skill. While she is copying from notes, she is spotted by a classmate, Gao Xiang, who is considered a wayward student. Unfortunately, the note is soon discovered by the teacher, and Lynn becomes anxious. But to her surprise, Gao claims responsibility for this, and thus, he is thrown out of the test. Later, Lynn feels apologetic towards Gao and approaches him. However, the notorious classmate only makes fun of her, saying that even a topper student like her has to resort to cheating. At home, Lynn's mother pesters her to focus on her studies. The next day, Lynn once again approaches Gao to thank him for taking the bullet for her. He shrugs her off as usual, but before leaving, he asks her for a favor. From now on, Lynn has to do all of his assignments. Fearing that he will expose the truth if she doesn't comply, Lynn reluctantly says okay. In the following days, Gao begins to give his homework to Lynn, which she completes efficiently. Meanwhile, we learn that Lynn has a best friend named Lu. One day during recess, Lu introduces her new boyfriend to Lynn. However, due to his poor academic standing, Lynn ignores him completely. We learn that she is repelled by students who are not academically strong and thinks that they are just a waste of time. As days pass by, Lynn gets tired of doing homework for the dull Gao. So, in order to teach him a lesson, she decides to solve a very difficult question on his homework. This way, the teacher will be suspicious and Gao will be accused of cheating. The following day, the teacher summons Gao and asks him how he solved the complex problem. As expected, Gao doesn't have a clue, so he reveals the truth. The teacher and the other students are confused, not understanding why a topper girl like Lynn would help a weak student like Gao. Assuming that he is lying, the teacher scolds Gao. At this point, Lynn has had enough, so she stands up from her seat and prepares to reveal the truth. But just then, Gao says something shocking. He screams that Lynn did his homework because she likes him. The statement sends the entire class into a state of frenzy, despite Lynn trying her best to explain that it is not the case. Fortunately, one classmate, Hung Tao, believes her. He knows that Lynn doesn't like academically poor boys, and this makes him assume that Gao is simply blackmailing her. It is then revealed that Huang is secretly in love with Lynn, but is too shy to express it. As a result, he and his best friends are at the loggerheads with Gao. After class, Lynn visits Gao, who is practicing in the swimming pool. She confronts him there, asking why he lied in front of everyone. She also asserts that she doesn't like him. Gao understands, and in response, he takes a nearby mic to announce that he doesn't like Lynn, but instead, it's the other way around. She likes him. This announcement makes everyone excited except for Lynn, who now is even more enraged. Soon, the rumors spread like wildfire, and everyone in school begins to tease Lynn with Gao's name. The boys who she previously rejected confront Lynn, wondering why she likes the good-for-nothing Gao. The rumor even gets to her brother, who begins asking Lynn about her relationship with Gao. With all the name drops, Lynn is frustrated. So, with the help of her best friend Lu, she devises a plan. She will make it look like Gao actually has another girlfriend and hopes to clear her name. The following day, Lynn secretly places a bouquet of flowers and a love letter from the imaginary girlfriend at Gao's desk. When the other students see this, they quickly ask Lynn if she was the one who put those gifts there. But Lynn denies it, saying that she hates such frivolous things. The students are then convinced that Gao has another girlfriend. When he finally arrives at his desk, he plays it cool, having already realized that Lynn might be behind all this. Gao then accepts the gift from his girl and loudly announces that she will be preparing tiffin for him tomorrow. Hearing this, Lynn decides to bring a tiffin box for Gao to continue the act and hopefully convince others. However, the next day, Gao arrives early and catches her with the tiffin box. He then confirms that she is actually behind all the fake girlfriend acts. Later that afternoon, Lynn talks with Lu and shares her frustration about not being able to best Gao and his lies. Seeing her best friend upset, Lu decides that she will make her boyfriend beat up Gao. But just then, Lynn's younger brother overhears their conversation and explains that he and his friends have just the right plan to teach Gao a lesson. In the next scene, we see the brother along with his friends collecting and filling up a balloon with their urine. The plan was to burst it over Gao. However, things don't go as planned. Instead, Lynn's brother falls victim to his own dirty trick and gets covered in smelly urine. When he returns home, Lynn notices the pungent odor and asks him about it. He simply lies, saying that Gao punished him. Furious, Lynn goes to confront Gao at his home. When she reaches there, she doesn't find him, but sees an old man struggling to turn off a water tap. Lin immediately goes inside to help him and attempts to turn it off, getting wet in the process. Thankfully, Gao arrives at the scene and manages to stop the gushing water, getting himself wet as well. Later, Lin realizes that Gao lives with his grandfather. While getting herself cleaned, she sees many model gliders and planes in his room. This finally makes Lin realize that Gao isn't hopeless after all. She learns that he likes adventures and loves to make gliders. Over the next few days, the two become close, and Lin begins to develop feelings for him. One day in the supermarket, Lin and Lu bump into Gao, and this is the first time we see Lin nervous in front of him. They share an awkward interaction before parting ways. The following day, the teacher asks the students about their goals and dreams. A girl says that she wants to become an actress, but the teacher badly berates her and mocks her dream. Seeing this, Gao stands up and begins talking about his dream. He says that he wants to fly and build his own glider one day. The teacher then jokingly says that if Gao wants to fly, then he should show them in front of the school. Gao takes this seriously, so the next day when all the students are lined up in an assembly, he takes his self-made glider and actually flies. All the spectators cheer and admire his courage as they excitedly watch him fly. However, Gao gets into an accident when his glider loses its balance. Fortunately, it is not a serious one. Later that night, Lin broods over a pamphlet for an astronomy exhibition. She wants to study the subject desperately, but at the same time, she knows that her mother cannot be persuaded to let her. Lin has to pursue finance out of obligation. The following day, she visits Gao at his home as he is recovering from his glider injuries. The two share their interests and dreams and continue to bond with each other. Once fully recovered, Gao returns to school where his classmates welcome him with a big round of applause. But Lin's secret admirer Huang knows this, so he comes up with a devious plan. At the opportune moment, he secretly slips his watch into Gao's pocket. Later, he and his friends confront Gao and accuse him of stealing the watch. They then brutally beat him up before Lin arrives at the scene and stops them. Huang jabbers that Gao's father used to be a thief and he is now in jail. The revelation shocks Lin, but nonetheless, she defends Gao and takes him away. Later in the evening, Gao takes Lin to a place where he used to visit his father as a child. He reveals that his father is not a thief and that he was actually framed. Ever since his father was jailed, Gao has become the victim of bullying and name-calling. After learning of this, his father sent him a letter telling Gao to never visit him in jail again. In the letter, his father encourages Gao to believe only in himself and never listen to what others say. As the two continue chatting, Lin asks Gao about his mother, and the latter reveals that she died when he was an infant. The only thing he knows about her is her birthday. With her astrological knowledge, Lin realizes that his mother is an Aries and shows him the Aries constellation in the sky. Because of this, Gao learns that she is very much interested in astronomy and wonders why she doesn't pursue that field. With a sad expression, Lin reveals her mother's insistence on pursuing finance. Regardless, Gao suggests she pursue what she likes so that she won't regret it later. The following day, after learning that she likes astronomy, Gao buys tickets for the astronomy exhibition to take Lin on a date. Once home, Lin's mother scolds her badly as she heard the rumor about her daughter and Gao. To make matters worse, the mother has also found out about the astronomy exhibition, so she continues to nag Lin about focusing on her homework. Forced to do extra study, Lin doesn't make it to the date. Meanwhile, Gao waits for hours and eventually understands Lin's situation. As an act of love, Gao sneaks into the astronomy exhibition at night and takes photographs of the place. Unfortunately, he is caught in the act and expelled from school. Before leaving, he and his friends from the local auto shop sneak into the school. They then paint astrological images on the walls and ceilings of the classrooms. When Lin sees this the next day, she becomes overjoyed. Even her secret admirer Huang is impressed as he finally understands how much Gao loves her. The movie then cuts to the school's annual awards day, where Lin is given the Best Student Award. But before she can receive it, Huang tells her that Gao is leaving town. This immediately changes Lin's mood, so she decides to give a speech and expose herself. She reveals how she ignored the feelings of her best friend Lu, as well as her good friend Gao. Lin regrets being selfish and only caring about her own feelings. She then declines the award and rushes to the train station. She wants to bid farewell to the only person who has ever understood her, Gao. But unfortunately, she misses the train. In the next scene, Lin and her classmates run into Gao's friends from the auto shop and hitch a ride to the local radio station. There, Lin uses the airwaves to bid farewell to Gao. She cherishes the days spent together with Gao, while he, on the other end, becomes emotional. Lin concludes her message by singing the Beatles song, Hey Jude. 10 years later, we see Lin has become a famous astronomer. She abandoned her mother's plan for her to study finance at Tsinghua University and decided to follow her own dreams and pursue astronomy. Gao, on the other hand, decided to become an adventurer for life, traveling across many countries. In a voiceover, Lin reveals that she had planned a trip to Africa, hoping to meet Gao there. Meanwhile, the rest of the group meet at Huang's wedding. Lu and her boyfriend are still courting, but we learn that the latter intends to propose to her soon.